everyone, if you don't feel like showing your face to be accidentally included in the video provided on YouTube, you are welcome to turn off your camera, even though I do love to see your faces. Thank you so much. Henry, it's all yours. It's 1 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I'm broadcasting it. Okay, we're on YouTube already. Welcome everybody back to Asian brush painting class, Memory of Home, organized by Brooklyn Public Library in New York. We have students from all over the world join our class, and the first class was extremely successful to see everybody's work. I don't have time to critique more paintings from last class, but in the end of class, if we have time, I'll do some. Today we're going to study the spring landscape with the cherry blossom. As you can see on my screen, we have a sample painting I did based on some references, both from a master. His name is Yaming, spelled Y-A-M-I-A-N-G. Yaming. He was a master from my hometown, Nanjing, leader of the newer Nanjing Landscape School, founded by Fu Baoshi and Qian Songye. We learned Qian Songye's Cliff and Pine. He was the co-founder. Both of Yaming and Qian Songye are vice president, while Fu Baoshi is the president of the Jiangsu province Chinese Painting Academy. So this painting was done by Yaming in this book. You can see I also distributed a copy through the library of this page I referenced, and also this one. He has traveled in Southeast Asia, like countries like surrounding countries like Japan, Pakistan, India, maybe, or Vietnam, yeah, and also in Europe. So in this book, you'll find many foreign landscape or traveling sketches, we call it, 写生, of foreign real scenery. Like this is the Indus River in South India or Pakistan, and there are just many scenery. This is Dunhe, I think it's Russia, or there are some other places in Germany featured. So we're not going to paint all the sceneries. Today we focus on this seasonal subject matter. He did after the ancient castle in Japan with cherry blossom. So I will introduce some materials first, as we did last time, and some techniques as preparation. So the paper we're going to use is this Japanese practice paper. It's not very easy to paint because it's basically a calligraphy paper, but I got used to it. Many of my demos on YouTube since about almost 20 years, I guess, or 15 years. I started with this paper because the size is just perfect to be filmed, and so just any paper can be good as long as you master it. You make a friend. I will say not master. You're not enslave your brushes or pens or control it. You make friend with them. Get familiar with your tools and your paper. Last time we modified this brush, it become my favorite brush. It's also provided by the library, and this from the same source, I believe, from a Japanese chain store, Daiso. You can also order this paper on the internet. Just just show you this cover, and we also carry them in our website, on our website. So this paper is semi-sized, which means when you put water on it, it smears, but not actually it's pretty much unsized. Usually, yeah, it's less smear than so it's pretty much. I still consider it's unsized. If it's sized, you will not see the expansion of the smearing. To compare, we have a semi-sized paper also provided by the library, right? Can you see the water stand? See, if I put on the dark surface, should be able to see better. Maybe. See, this one does not smear that much. So if you have this paper, this semi-sized paper, handmade semi-sized, it's not as white as this. You can see it's not smeared that much, right? Well, we can try both. So this is compared to the other options. They have a thicker version of this, and it says for final work on the cover. That's actually more smearing than this practice grade. So just get the practice grade. It's less more forgiving a little bit. But if you are scared of this, just use this traditional handmade Schwan paper, rice paper. Okay, that's about papers. Brushes, we can just use these 3 brushes, or you can use any stiff brush for the branches or outline of the building, and to do the washes with this soft brush. Another thing I like to mention is that to find to got some font brush, not a traditional painting brush. This is a paint brush. Let's see if I can get noise. I cannot. The gardening. I wish you cannot hear the noise. So you can use a barbecue brush. The reason I'm using this is I'll show you why. This technique involves splatting technique, splatting, just like splatter. So if you use an absorbent, soft brush like a mop brush holds a lot of moisture. They are designed to hold the moisture, not to drip. So you need to find a bristle brush which is not absorbent, like an oil painting brush could also work. Let me show you. A large oil painting brush with bristle might also work for this purpose. I can use water to demonstrate this. Okay, this is a practice fabric. We call it magic cloth. It's a fabric. It could be paper, but now they improved. They use fabric. It has a surface that dries, evaporate. When you can practice, on this for calligraphy practice, right? So if you use regular brush, it's too much spring, and it's kind of hard to control. You know, just you know, it has like a string of dots. I try to get just round dots without the line. So this is oil brush. Okay, this motion is better. Knocking on top is more controllable. You can use a cigarette gesture like this. That's the arch like that. Or you can use this barbecue brush. See, it's a little bit large, but if the moisture is less, so it's fully controllable. See, it will save you. Otherwise, I won't do this in the class. To be frankly with you, I dotted this sample painting without using special tools for more than 2 hours. But it's a good passing time. If you have patience, you just do it slowly, but with a rhythm. You know, you try to mimic the rhythm I got from the splatter. Then you're good. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Traditionally, they do this 3 days for a tree. You know, 5 days for a rock, something like that. So that's the ancient method. To show you some of my early work, this is what I learned first in my early days, back in 1973. Okay, let me show you. I have to close. Okay, this painting I did in 1974 and participated in a provincial level youth or children's art show. And you can see the bottom of this painting has cherry blossoms, actually plum blossoms. It's a real scenery from this mountain called Zijing Shan. It's it has the observatory. So I drew all these houses. It took 3 days to paint. I did just 21 before this one to enter the show. Excuse me. And it was published on a newspaper. So I was so encouraged. It's like winning a prize, you know. So in this case, I dotted the white. I dotted the white first with gouache or opaque watercolor, or just titanium white in watercolor, or Chinese white in watercolor in Chinese painting colors. And then after it dries, I wash with the rouge or carmine on both sides. Rouge on the back side in the shady part, and carmine on the crown, the lighter part. So that's the technique. And I do the branches first. The branches first to give a structure, and just dot the crown. So this is a traditional way. And you can splatter the white if you like, and then wait it dry, and then apply carmine. And this is a plum blossom with birds. This is what we call the birds and the flower style, not the landscape style. So the more details. in landscape painting, we don't do the details like these little stamens. So it the cherry blossom seen from distance, just like red or orange, not orange, pink clouds, right? Okay, this is another painting I did a little later at high school. I think maybe 17 years old. That one was 15 years old when my first painting. And this one also have spring tree blossoms. You can see I was influenced heavily by the Jiangsu or the Nanjing New Landscape School, also known as the Socialist Realism style. Okay, this is the most recent work I've done on cherry blossom. It's a life-size statue made of fiberglass elephant. It's a program. It's a charity program called the Elephant Parade. So I did this with acrylic, but based on the Sumi style. They love it. Actually, I did 80 years ago first, and this was a second project. The initial. Let me see if I can find the first one to show you, so you know how the. Okay, yeah, here's the one. This one was done 80 years ago. It was among the other elephants in Elephant Parade in Dana Point, a beautiful ocean town in Orange County here. You can see what's the size of it, right? And this is a close-up shot. This actually is not cherry blossom, it's apricot. In Chinese painting, we always have a title or idea comes first. And this project is a charity, as I mentioned. So we work with a celebrity. The Chinese actress working with me, I'm working with her, and her name is Bingbing Li. You know Bingbing Li, Li Bingbing. He was then working in a film in Hollywood. He was a winner of the 100 flowers. It's a Chinese, just like Oscar. So she asked me to do a painting with 100 apricot, because she was born in the April, I think. The birth month flower is apricot. So I did 100. I didn't count it, but it's more identifiable. You know, each flower. The title is 100 flowers.
Is that the movie actress Li Bingbing?
Li Bingbing, yeah. She also signed it. She is not a painter. She actually she signed it. I was a ghost painter. You understand? Just I used to act on other film, ads or some movies.
Ghost painter, you just follow what she wanted.
Yeah. I just painted on her behalf for her. Yeah. So she was the person to present. You know, to be. She is supposed to be her. But the second painting I did was under my own name. So this was commissioned by a couple, mixed couple. The gentleman is born in Japan, and an American lady. So they want to paint this, as I described, the pink clouds kind of feeling of the sensation of the cherry blossom they had from their hometown. So they can put in their newly finished building last year. You know, it's exactly 1 year ago I did this. So we did, and he asked specifically the falling petals on the ground. That was a challenge. I suggest they just put plastic petals on the floor or something. But eventually I did that along the feet, So I did many studies, like you can see the mini elephants, the two mini as for the design. I also did some two-dimensional studies. You can see this is my painting process. I used the acrylic, but I used Chinese brush. The same kind of brush, not expensive one, because when you use acrylic, it will damage the brush. I just used the Daiso brush, I think. I started from the calligraphy branches. I talk about that later, and then I will paint with very light pink. But this is not an absorbent surface, so I have to create the kind of softness with a very wet liquid paint. Yeah. So I did hummingbird also by request, and I love it because we have hummingbird actually nesting outside our living room right now. So we'll show you. We'll show the public later the process. So I'm really familiar with this. This is my picture. I was 17, I think, in Nanjing, doing a large the bridge painting. It's the bridge, the line. I think that's the bridge. So it's okay. This is the scenery, the real scenery of that mountain. It's plum blossom. The plum blossom is much sparser. How do you say? Less, flowers, but more intense color. Sometimes white though, with different, more varied colors. The branches are longer, maybe. So it's a little different than cherry blossom. And the season. This one I did last year for a Japanese student on Zoom. That real scenery of a white Agrant castle in Japan. This is a study for that elephant. I did several color studies. Like this is in oil, just for the color. I did this in a local park here in LA. And this is a watercolor style on canvas. And this is my favorite acrylic. So this one I try to approach it in impressionistic style. So you can see even I use different media. The mood is more important than anything else, and the movement, the calligraphy, the line actually serve the structure of the painting, and more important is the negative space. The negative space, we'll talk about that. And this is another study of, it's already collected by a student in Florida. Acrylic painting, yeah. That's the shot. Yeah, I was doing this in a local park last year. Okay. So I hope you got some feeling of doing this. I have a lot of memories from my places I was born, like Nanjing has a cherry blossom street. Also the city of Seattle, I studied for 10 years at the University of Washington. The campus is well known for the cherry blossom. We have a spring break called the cherry blossom break, for 10 days, spring break. Usually it's the time to appreciate it, and the public will pouring in to see it. We call it, in Japan they have a song, seeing the flowers, right? The blooming flowers. 花见, I don't know how to pronounce it in Japanese. So seeing the blooming flowers is the festival, kind of. Okay, let me So which one we go first? I think so there are two paintings I did for this. This is the Nara Park, actually with deers. With people, it's a little challenge. So, but I can use this to talk about the branches a little bit. Then we'll do the other one maybe. Okay, you can. I just use ink so I can show you. Okay. I think I'll use the semi-sized Schuan paper, maybe. I realize this is very smearing, so for beginners, maybe a little bit too challenging. But I can show you this. Okay, let's got a little bit ink from a bottle. This is Japanese blue ink I use, but you can use any ink, and I can grind it with a little bit. You can add maybe half water, half just blend it. So I got more ink, and you can start doing a sketch of the composition, if you like, with a charcoal, a soft willow charcoal. For that castle thing, you basically create a Z or S-shaped kind of flow. Don't have to be continuous, but that's the general idea. And the branch is the trunk of the tree. Can you see the real bonsai behind me? Look at that, and maybe you can take a quick sketch, and I just take a shot from my memory. So you can still see it here. So I just copy this, and you can see the crossing of the branches is very characteristic. There are usually three lines. One something like this, right? And then two. This could be the trunk, but it could the root could be outside the frame, so you don't have to do the root, obviously. And then another one, just to I will say echo the first one, or to support the first one. This one could be the main branch, though. These two basically form a Y-shaped or V-shaped form. And then the third one is to make a cross. Remember when we talked about the orchid last time? We talked about the crossing, the three lines, right? This is a pattern, and in this plum blossom or cherry blossom, we look for the pattern of in Chinese character. It's Ni. In seal script, it might look more like a number, like a 8. So we look for this negative space. If you look at the picture on my left corner, can you identify the 8? So this area, right? You can. It's not literal, but to basically you cross. It's maybe half of the letter. Another secret is you don't want to let people know here's the 8, but it's just a mental representation. It's a pattern in your a hint maybe. So don't take it too literal. You don't want to paint. So when I start another tree, I just create 3 lines. Yeah, just so the character. If you read Japanese or Chinese, it's like half of the character 女, right? If you go to Japan or China, you will see this character outside the ladies' room. So it's a helpful character to learn, right? Anyway, so that's 女. It could be half, and you can squeeze it like become a very small, right? Okay. Then we need just to break it. Yeah. Okay. Since I already sketched this one, so you don't have to draw the Z, but that should be in your mind. The Z is like you have a closer triangular shape there and a big triangular there. So that you can have several folds, just like a perspective line. Okay, so we can use a stiff brush. The basic Wolf brush would be good. And you soak the brush in water first. And then dip a little bit. So my brush is dark, from dark to light, without blending. Okay, and I can use a paper towel to adjust the heel of the brush. If it's too much water, I want to make sure it's not dripping anything. So my branch start with pure dark. You can see I start from the dark. Let me show you the other picture. So because I'm not doing this composition, so I just show you the number 8. Because
Henry, I believe you are muted accidentally.
Oh.
We could not hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, let me.
Sorry.
So I missed many talks here, huh? It should be on YouTube still, but let me repeat it a little bit.
Maybe just the last 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I accidentally clicked some spot. Okay. So I use this reference to show you the number 8, or the Chinese character. Let me just write this here on a piece of paper. This is the standard script, but in traditional script, you will see something like this. So this diamond shape is the negative space. And you can see in the picture on the left side, there's a crossing, like that. It could be soft crossing, and one heart. It's in the front. This is the back. This is what we call soft crossing. Yeah, but this forms a character, and you can make another crossing and another. So this is how we develop the tree. So just make this kind of crossing. It could be down, it could be up.
Henry, please move your paper to the center of your lens. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that. So this is the character. You can overlap several, and maybe you can add some more small ones. So you can break it. Then you can hide it. Not try to take it the rule, the principle or the pattern too explicit. Try to just use it as a guideline. Just like you do the orchid, when you paint the orchid or grass, you always do it in a group of 3, right? Or you do bamboo leaves, you always do it in a group of 3 or 4, and then you can add and on top of that. So this is what we call the pattern, right? But in nature, you don't really see this kind of pattern exactly. But just like the tree behind me, can you see that pattern? See the trunk? Okay. We also have a small cherry blossom tree. Let me show you. Okay. See? So when you look at the tree, you try to look around it, and then try to find the crossing. You see that there's one, right on this, right there, the triangular shape, right? So you don't just paint right away. You look for this tree. See, that's a perfect nu there. Can you see it? Can you see that crossing line, the holes of the crossing branches? Yeah, that's the pattern. You understand? So as long as you follow this, it will be much easier. Okay. And let's go back to this. So I'm going to use this basic wolf brush, and then we'll change the handout. Okay, here's another picture of the. Okay, this is the one we're going to do. Don't try to copy exactly. It can follow my stroke, but maybe different. But when I do this, I have a rough idea. You can divide the paper into halves. These are the areas you don't want to paint. The center, the dead centers. Okay, and you can just when I do the trunk, I don't put it in the middle. I almost did that, so maybe it should be a little bit on this side, right? And you can do a little branch like that, and then you start to look for the nu, or I'll call it 8 maybe. It's easier for you if that. And then you make it more angular, not as curve, but when you make a turn, make a folding. So vary also the distance between each section. So some short, some long, and some just. This is a little bit exaggerated, but it's okay. Just make some mistakes like this, then you fix it. You will make the painting even more interesting. So make some beautiful mistakes. You solve problem by following the rules. You don't use rules at the beginning. Then when you have a problem, you think about the rules I just mentioned. Okay, also leave some absence of stroke. We call it idea complete with absence of stroke. There are eyes for the flowers. In landscape painting, we don't have to do exactly like the flower painting. We have to really save some space for the petals to come in. But it's a good idea to just to create some what do we call last time, staccato stroke, right? You're shaking strokes. And the idea is don't reload. So far I didn't reload. So it starts from here, the dark, and then getting lighter on top. You can start from the top, and it will be lighter under. So you just follow that my sequence of doing the strokes, and you will get the tone right. Okay, don't reload until you exhaust it. That's the style of Yaming, the master we learned this week. See, I create this line based on that Z I draw. It's a diagonal line. Yeah, this also basically going that way towards the left, right? Just you can double some parts, just make it a little, and you can use dots, mask dots also. Okay, that's the basic shape of this main tree, and I'll do some. Let me see. There are some grays on the corner. You don't have to put in any branches, but you can if you want. I think to keep it simple, we just don't do that. Make a simple statement, yeah. And then we do another 8-shaped crossing here. You can do the right side first, and then the front. So the branch not only going left and right, also goes to the front, right? And you can go, excuse me. You can go right before you go left. What we call this when we talk about the crown of the pine. By the way, my student in Ohio, Kathy, she's a Tai Chi teacher. She loved this theory of the clawed hand movement, that like Tai Chi, yeah. So this one it should be a little shorter, so you don't compete with each other. The tree has a relationship, a hierarchy of host and guest. We call it. It's a host. This is a guest. A guest is playing the supporting role, right? Just like a supporting actor or actress. This is the main. So I haven't reloaded it. Okay, I haven't reloaded because I know how much ink. I just one drop. Although I got too much in the inkstone, maybe that's misleading. But I don't use that much. So here it's just a hint of a squeezed, flattened, just like a flattened view. You don't really see. You see more crowns, just less trunk there. So it's getting smaller and lighter too. Okay. You can just draw a little bit loose branches here and there, like I suggested. The idea complete with absence of strokes. So you don't paint all the branches because there are flowers covering all the branches, right? So we just use the dry brush to create some kind of feeling of accent or something like the we call it the mask dots, right? It could be shady part of the flower or something, some darks, yeah. But you don't have to do the this detail. Just suggest detail, yeah. on the especially the front. In the shady part, maybe a little bit, just create some kind of. You can start to fill the flowers. Even I don't do anything, the viewer will fill in the blank. Oh, before I dot, you don't see anything. When I dot, they may be the calyx, or something, leaf buds or something, buds, yeah. But don't identify them, just the impression of that. Okay. And now I'm going to. I haven't finished the ink work yet, right? So just if the brush is too split, you can use. Let me just use this saucer so you can see it. So you can use a palette to adjust it. Maybe add. I don't want to add anything. It's still that first load, because that will give me a natural gradation. To do that distant building, this beautiful castle, landmark castle, it's kind of a challenge for many if you don't draw it well. We can simplify that into a 4-star Bogota, like just a symbol. So this one again is not in the middle, not too large, because it's in the distance, right? So we just draw a top with a, well, you can draw the triangle and then the top with a little something. A big roof is a Tang Dynasty style. I think this building style is a Tang style. They maintained, and you can draw something on top, but maybe just one dotted line is enough. And then draw some flattened triangles, because the ink getting lighter, so it will hopefully getting softer and softer. Just draw flattened triangles. Could be a little bit larger, I think. But you don't need to paint underneath the eave, just the eave, the silhouette, the French word, the profile, right? And then you just kind of draw some shadow in the middle, just like that. Just use the side of the brush to blend a little bit. Don't have to draw a bar, but just blend it a little bit. So you soften that top corner of the triangle. So that's you can paint this longer, I think. That's and it could be a little larger on the bottom, I think. Just the profile. And then I don't think you can add a little water to the brush. Let me show you how do I do that. So my water would be clean when I finish. If you could do this, you would be a good painter like Yaming. Yaming is well known for this. Let me see. My camera, let me see, doesn't show. Okay, here. So my brush is dry. I haven't loaded anything from the first load. Okay, so I dip a little, just a tip in the water, and then I draw with this. See, and then I dip. So this gives me a gradation. Also, I draw from light to dark, and you can also lighten the other side. Just a little hint, and then I keep. Let me show closely. Okay, I just dip in the water like that, not wash my brush, and then I just draw a little shadow, something under the tree or something, and this is to squeeze out some shape. see the handout has this kind of grays, right? That's the way I did this. So use the side of the brush to paint some to block in some exposed some vegetation, maybe some other trees it could be, but you don't have to make it too complicated. Don't identify them. You can paint the hill or in some case. I'm not sure if there's a hill, but it could be. Maybe. But at this point, maybe it's kind of difficult. You can do this afterwards, actually. But since I try to finish the ink painting without any color, so you can see my value study. Maybe we call it just black and white. Yeah. So this could be vegetation or shadow, whatever. It will be covered with flowers. Yeah. So my I just basically just clean this brush. So when I finish this step, my brush is almost clean. I don't have to wash it, right? So a little shadow under the crown. On the, I don't know where the source of the light. Don't ask me for that. The Western thinking, style. So this is the ink work. Now you have to dry it. You can use a hair dryer or use an iron. You just use an iron. You can iron just the important part, like the building. You don't want to smear when you wet it, and you want to dry the branches so the branch will not smear. Maybe we just dry the whole thing.
Henry, what's the setting for your iron to dry the paper?
I don't really know. Let me see. It could be silk or wool. I think low temperature wool. I think between wool and silk, something like that. So if it's too hot, you might. But you can see it start to create wrinkles.
Hello.
Yeah.
As I know, the wool will be the high temperature.
Oh, really?
Silk, wool, cotton, all of the high. The acrylic fabric, that will be lower temperature.
Oh, okay. I got the opposite.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know. So
Yeah,
I
the
always made a
cotton
mistake.
wool, yeah, linen, that is all of the high.
Oh, okay. I was wrong for decades. Just because
Yeah, because I think you're not ironing real clothes. So.
I never iron my shirts. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So the acrylic or synthetic, it's lower. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So
That will
that's
be
why,
a lower,
yeah,
lower temperature.
okay. Lower. Oh, that's lower. Okay. Thank you for correcting me. Okay, but don't worry about these wrinkles. It will be flattened with mounting. I think we're going to splatter wet on dry because I want to show the red spot. So should I just use this? Okay. First of all, you need to prepare a bowl of cherries, cherry colors. I mean, a bowl of cherries. The song, right? Okay. I got rouge already there, but that's a little bit too cool. It will be, it look like more like a plum. It's on the blue side, so you can mix a little. Let me see. Yeah, carmine with rouge maybe, and then a little bit yellow. I mix the color to make it look like hot
Henry?
pink. Yeah.
Henry, sorry, could you tell us the number
Oh,
on
sure.
the tube of each color that you're using? For
Yeah,
example,
the
the rouge,
carmine is Maurice color number 390. And,
390. I think
yeah.
it's also called eosine red.
Yeah, also rouge, the 400. Okay, and I'll use a little. Let me use this. I think the bowl may be too much to. I'll just use. Okay, we can just use this leftover here. So I will use a little bit yellow to create a little. To add a little orange to it, to just make it a little hotter. So, you know. And just here, you can see better maybe on this one. I need a lot. That's the reason I use this. So let me just make a. Okay, that's how much I think for this one should be enough. Then I blend carmine. Carmine. You can use a clean brush to blend. I just use the brush I'm going to use for painting. And then a little bit yellow. Just turn it a little to the hot. We don't add any white. To dilute it, we have to add more water. I think that's too much. The cherry blossom is almost 1%, maybe 2%. I think this is maybe 5%. I don't know. That's test. You can use this paper for testing. Just like it will dry lighter. So to show you the true color after it dries, I can just dry it, or you can iron it to see if this is probably a little still too dark. Let me for the darks, it should be fine, I think, for the front tree. And then we'll dilute it a little more. Okay. So I used the 3 color, all transparent colors. I didn't use any opaque white. Okay. So
Henry?
Yes.
What was that color? Was it 赭石?
No, 赭石, just胭脂 and 曙红.
Can you put down the number for 胭脂?
400 for 胭脂 and 390.
400 for 胭脂?
Yeah, 300 rouge, and then 390 carmine, and then gamboge yellow a little bit. That's 218. 218. We only have one yellow. You won't miss that. I think we only have one yellow for yellows. Okay, so this is good, right? This color it's a little bit dark, but let's see. Because I will wet the brush with water first, so it will still give me some variation. So I don't load the brush in uniform intensity. I just like when I paint, I try to keep them vivid. Vivid means not just dead one grade. So can you see my supply here? Okay, now I have basically water in the bottom. Maybe I dry a little bit, and then I just touch one side maybe with the paint, and maybe just do a little more. But you don't want to be too light. Sometimes it's kind of risky, but you have to take. So I just dab on top. Can you see? And move around. you start from the area you're not worried about mistakes like this area, and so at the end you can increase. You can do this tabbing. You putting your index finger under it, and just so when it's if you want more subtle, you knock it on top, kind of like that. So basically, I try to finish in one note. That will give me not only the gradation, but also my drop becomes smaller and smaller. It's a little bit hard. You can use a masking technique. You can put some computer paper or something to block the area you don't want the paint to come in. So let's just do this. You don't have to be very precise. You don't want to create a line of see that you can also use a scrap paper, like you want to keep this river or something white. You can just put a little bit there. Can you hear the sound? I'm knocking harder. So just exhaust this. So my barbecue brush really, or paint brush, works the best for this. And just add a little on the under the tree, maybe a little. Okay, now I can change the color a little bit. You can dry this so it will set, and then you can apply more washes, like even indigo, for example. Or you can just do it wet into wet. Let's say if you add a little bit yellow to the brush, maybe just blend it, you will add a little variation of that. Let's see, just put on the main branch, we will have some yellows. And for the distant, you want to add a little indigo, maybe. Just make it purplish, lavender kind of. Okay, I can
Henry,
use. Yes.
is indigo 花青?
花青, yeah. 花青
Indigo is
is
花青, or what number is 花青?
The indigo is number 450, 451. 451. Yeah.
Thank you.
So let me get a little bit here. I don't have any huaqing. It's good for using as blue to create greens. But in this painting, we don't have any green. We try to keep it very simple. It's just a pink, but a hint of huaqing, or see. You blend the two, the blue and the red, you get purple, right? So that's the color I use for distant. You see, I can also dot it like that. It's a very good stenciling kind of stipping brush. Yeah, we have a stipping brush also for trees. But this just comes handy. Do you all find this at in a kitchen or something like this? But I don't think you will go back to use it for barbecue after using these colors. I got from supermarket. I think it's there's a brand, Loewe Cornell. Loewe dash Cornell. Can you see that? I don't think you need to worry about the brand. Any barbecue brush should work the same, basically. Oops, that's too much blue. We don't want any blue there, just purple maybe. Okay, too much blue is not good. Okay, let's take all the mask away. And do we have a good composition? If not, you can still adjust that. I think that's it. I don't want to paint too much, but you can get even more realistic with some reflections, I think. So something like in the water, could be. This suggests the water. I don't know if this is the water, but they have a river somewhere in the area. You can take a boat trip or something. Oh, just keep it simple. And here we do have space for a boat, maybe. I didn't plan that, but at the end you can dot it like that. You use a regular brush, especially the foreground. You want to create some painterly strokes, so people. It's a combination of non-brush, technique and traditional technique. So this is to show that I painted. Yeah, I don't just splatter like this brush won't if I splatter this, it would go everywhere. It just bounce. You see, I got this everywhere. So the stiff brush, bristle brush, really does the best with this technique. But the technique is not as important as the composition, right? You have to get the composition, the S composition in good. This is a small turn there, a big turn here, not just the equal S. Yeah. So this is it could be higher even. So it could be 2/3 of the composition. I'm sorry. Wet into wet. Now it's wet into wet. Yeah. So I started wet on dry. Now with this paper, I think now it shows the semi-sized character, because if it's unsized, the paint will run with the water. So now you can see the water runs, but the paint stays, which is very good. Okay, it's very important not to eliminate all the white, because the viewer's eye will blend the pink with the white paper to create that kind of flower clouds, right? Feel of the light pink. Yeah. So if you leave some white in the dots, that's why I don't do it with on wet. I didn't wet the paper. I want to keep some white. I want to have this dots. this little white between the splatter drops of color. So you can use a brush to pinpoint the dots. Now you can really paint. So you start with the accidental random effect, then you can continue. So if I want, I can do a boat. We have some references here, or you can just paint some tourist, or people, ladies in kimono, something like that. Let's see if we have some references we can use. Okay, let me. I have deer. Okay. Oh, yeah, here. Maybe this will help. Okay. I'll just browsing through. So this is the deer park. This is the Pagoda we did, right? So I just changed the composition from horizontal to vertical. So when you copy the masters, you have the freedom of modify it. Don't just copy exactly. In the beginning, if you don't know how to modify it, it's better to follow it. Okay, here is the boat. We can add that. It's a not very difficult one. Just basically back view, and that's this one probably is what I need. This one has the tourist very cute, wearing all the hats, and so you can see the entire boat. Do we have space for this? Let me see if I. Yeah, you can hide the front, and we can just do half of that. Maybe if I do this one, I don't complete. Try to you can to suggest to be suggest. Okay, here's some parked boats. That's also a possibility. We can do some boats just park there under this tree. That's a nice way to do that. Should I do the bridge? Of course you can. I wish if I just do a little bit red, it will not really add too much to this painting, because we got already too much red, too much pink. The orange color may not. Just keep the focus on the pagoda. The pagoda is the story, not the other part. So we need to lead the viewer back to the pagoda. So the boat maybe facing the pagoda is better. Something like this, right? So we can do something like that. Let me use the detail brush. You can draw that. So just try to create a scale, a sense of scale. So you don't really paint the boat too big, although the picture may be so, because it's a photograph. And painting, we need to make sure the boat is smaller than the tree, definitely, right? And it could be even smaller than what actually is. So let me see. From this perspective point, you might see the top of the boat, but in Chinese landscape painting, we move the eye level from here to here. So when I paint the pagoda, I don't really see the underside of the eave, right? So when I paint the boat here, I don't really see the top of the head, just a flat view. It's then I think the boat has to be heading the other way. So I have to reverse that. Let me see, how do I do that? So let me just reverse the boat. So the boat's heading this way, to the left, not to the right. So yeah, basically the guy standing on top of that boat is the idea. I better draw. I mean, I'm not a good drawer. You can see I paint. I just test. Okay. Now I just draw this guy with the head first. So that gives me a reference of the head, the body size. You know, it should be, you know, everybody knows that it's 8 or 7.5 of the head, right? So you just draw this roughly. It's good that there's no feet or something. It's very high, kind of. Deep. Yeah. Okay, so this is the, what do you call this tool? Same in China, I think. So this in front of the boat. That's important to know. And then we draw a little bit. A few more dots, like a little mushroom shape. You don't really have to draw too detailed, just a little mushrooms. Okay, now use a little color, I think. So you can, I just clean the brush this way, just use paper towel, and then just dip in water, paper towel again, dip in water, dry the brush again, so I don't wash it. I don't have to change the water. And you can do the hat in little yellow. They might be white, but I don't mind. Just a little brown, maybe a little orange or whatever, should be fine. But you don't have to fill in all the blanks, just like that. And the boat is in brown. We can just do it in orange color, and a little bit grayer on the side. And there's a reflection. You can just draw like that. With the side of the brush, and then paint a little darker, wet into wet. Just a suggestion. Don't repeat. The boating tool is darker, maybe. Okay, now I just use indigo to color the person.
Henry, I'm sorry. Some people say that they cannot hear you well. Is it possible for you to speak up louder or closer to your microphone, please?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also zoomed in. You can see my my camera better, right? So this is the detail part. of the boat. I just color the guy clothing with a single color like a blue, and you can indicate some other color. I think yellow would be good. You got someone got purple. We got too much purple, but you can use intense root, just the carmine, maybe just pure carmine. It would be nice, just to add a little more red to that. So someone in the boat wearing the cherry color. The person is not really emotion. I think it could be a little lean or something to create a. But they're going very slow, maybe, so there's not much movement. So you don't have to. I think just the suggestion of the theme. I think you can lighten the color if it's too dark with the blotting paper. Okay, it will dry lighter. Anyway, so also the reflection of this, I think it should be this way, right? All right. You could just use light gray with ink. No color. Too much color just confuse. The ink is the essence in brush painting. So let me zoom out so you can see. I like the color I got today. It's a little bit warm, a little cool, warm. But basically it's carmine, very diluted carmine. So that's the demo. We don't have time for the deer, but tomorrow I will do that for my advanced class. A master study class. If you're interested in, you can go to subscribe my channel. Then you will get the. You can watch live on YouTube. Any questions, or do you have anything to share? Let's see. I have to.
Henry, do you want me to unmute people for them to raise questions now, or you want me to pick a few people to show their password?
Let's see how many questions they have.
Okay, so let me unmute everybody.
So
1 second.
Yeah, they can unmute themselves now, right? Yeah. So you can let them unmute themselves.
Right. Those who want to ask a question, you can unmute yourself right now.
Alice, right? Someone is, or Florence, do you have something to ask?
No, I just want to show you how to work on the boat.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Are there questions from participants?
Yeah, your trees and Bogota are beautiful. I really like the strokes of the branches. The wash is very poetic. The boat got smeared. Is that what you're?
No, I had to work on it. The brush was full of water.
Yeah. You just wait it dry. When that happens, wait it dry, and then, or you can iron it to dry it before you add more definitions.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait because there was too much water. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Lori raised her hand.
Okay. Henry, if you make a bad ink blot, is there a way to dilute it, or you just leave it as part of the drawing?
Just blot it, add some water, blot it again, and leave it. Do not. Usually they will be part of the the Japanese concept is wabi sabi. So you can see there are many mistakes I made. That's the fun part of it. You cannot repeat these beautiful mistakes. So I wish the spot become just try to work on other parts as best as you can, and that part usually becomes not become a problem. Just don't stare at it.
Okay.
Just ignore it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that, because I was staring at my boat too.
Yeah, just ignore the stains or accidents. Just work on other part. If your composition is correct, all these mistakes are just minor. Don't make big mistakes. The big picture it should be correct. If your pagoda is not in the right place, like in dead center or too large, or too dead, that's a mistake, because that's the focus. If the boat has problem, you can make it into a rock in the river.
Okay. But you should just visually, your eyes should be traveling up.
Yeah. I mean, if
okay.
you don't emphasize on that, people would just ignore it. It's just a hint of boat. It's not the focus. So don't fuss with the boat. Yeah. You can just leave it as is. Yeah.
When you finish asking questions, please unmute yourself. Next is Sonia, who raised her hand. Sonia, what is your question?
Can I see Sonia's video? Let me see.
Sonia just left and coming again. So there is Romaud. I'm going to stop by him now. Romaud, your question, please.
Hello, Henry. If you don't go with the splatter in a tree and you go with the manual method, what will be the strategy?
Okay, I did a combination. I hybrid, right? So I did use the brush in the end. So the challenge is that you want to keep the dot natural, so it's not like a pattern. So it's really hard. The distance, the variation of distance, the grouping. I mean, and the size, large and small. If you could do that with, the handout is basically 100% manual, so you can see what I did. Yeah. So if you use the very fully loaded brush, okay, let me do some demo here. Because this is the flower. It's not like maples, right? If you do this, it becomes something else. I mean, if you have like a lot of split hair, it could still. I think most important is the mental image. If you have that in your mind, so everything pointing to tree, I mean pointing to the flower, not to other maple or something. It's correct. I've seen people using just like this kind of brush. 福报师 may do this, but this usually represents autumn foliage. See, I still get dry brush, so I prefer the wet brush. That's why I try to do this. So you want to have a more of this kind of cloud kind of shape, not the too much texture. That's the mistake I made last year, because I used this split brush, almost like a autumn tree. So this year I tried to correct that.
You want to keep the roundness of each dot.
Yeah. Or you can keep the roundness of the whole cloud shape. Like you don't have to do little shapes, but you could do something. You can even paint like that. You just make it oval shaped, maybe, or and large and small, medium group is good. Even you use small dots, you combine them to form some dense and sparse. You see, I have dense and sparse. If you do it evenly, it will be a boring pattern. I did that in my teenage painting. You can see that. That's a traditional way, by the way. But we try to be more natural, kind of. So everything is organic, right? So you don't, you don't really. You can paint the branches after it, but when it's dry, when it's wet, it might smear. So that's why today I try to follow the master's approach. Master Yaming's approach. He didn't have this smearing, but last year I did something like this. So it's wet on wet, or I did the branches before it gets dry. I start to put the dots on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, notice
Diana has a question. Diana
you.
raised her hand.
Thank you. Henry, I've taken some of your other classes, but my big problem is always with managing the flow of the ink. I always get way too much ink and it spreads out all over my paper.
Okay.
Do you have any hints on controlling that?
Just use 3 drops of ink. Don't pour any more than that on your palette, and try to finish that. If not enough, add 1 more drop. We have a phrase for that. It's called treating the ink as gold. 惜墨如金. Save the you save the ink. Conserve the ink as gold. So you consider ink is a black gold. Okay. Then you try to use as little as possible, right? But we also have another phrase, which is pour more, like a pouring ink, right? Mm-hmm. So I poured the color today. You can also pour ink. So when you need it, you need to use it like a pouring. So pouring is not really the action itself. It's the way you use the brush, the ink. It could be like this is the flower part is like pouring on. You can literally pour like this, that it's like this, right? So sometimes we just pour the ink or the color. Sometimes so that creates the contrast, right? The sparsity and so the dry and dry and wet contrast is the key. So you use dry brush on the ink. In this painting, talk specifically, I didn't reload. I just loaded up to here with pure dark, and I started with this tree, right? And then it become lighter all the way there. So I really don't reload. And here then I got this idea. Then I can I don't have to do that so restrictively. I can still you can make up. If I add something, I use thirsty brush to add something in the back. So that, and then if I want to add something here, I use more ink than here, right? So that creates that will solve your problem. I think if you reload too much, you reload every time after a few strokes, then you lose the natural rhythm.
Sounds like I'm just starting with way too much ink.
Yeah, 3 drops of ink. Treat the ink as a gold.
Right. Okay.
That's
Thank
your
you.
gold. Yeah. Don't waste. Yeah. Okay. Stephanie.
Stephanie has a question. Stephanie, you need to unmute.
Yeah, I just first learned from you in Chinese art. I love it. I have a question that like every time when you draw the house, is it like Chinese letter learn?
Ren.
对
House. You mean the
yeah,
roof?
like house. The roof, yes.
Okay, if you look at the menu of mustard seed painting, it will show you many houses. So you can learn from there. So basically, the line is it's like this, a little bit different than you paint other part of the painting. So I draw with the tip of the brush, like that, and then there's a yeah, it's like calligraphy. You know, you hide the tip. That's kind of stroke we use. Instead of draw like a pencil, you know, just like like this is too sketchy. So we need to write. So you can have like this kind of stroke. This kind of staccato dotted draw. It's you know, to suggest the tire, this texture. It's good, but you need to hold the brush straight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there has. I can't get it. Those are.
In earlier, because you were saying the tree. That's all? No. Could you pick it up and see what you want?
Yeah, we need to have only one speaker. Maybe we cannot get everybody speaking at the same time. Can Yuli, who's the next question?
Sonia, are you ready to ask a question?
Yes, I am actually. Yes, I am. My question is, Henry, when I did the splattering of the pink, what happened was it went above the tree. So how do I get that pink out? Do I leave it? Or those pink dots above?
Okay, good question.
Above,
you mean the pink like smearing above the tree, like too much? Is that what you mean?
No, the dots. No, when I did the splattering.
The splatter.
Henry,
Henry,
when I did the splatter,
can you show your piece? You cannot lift it, huh? Can you? I don't see the picture.
Sonia, raise your artwork to the camera, please, so we could see what you're talking about. Right now, your lens is pointing towards the ceiling.
Oh, okay. Now I see a little bit. So just put there. Okay. The black thing, the black pagoda. You make it like a mountain. Just paint a mountain behind that. You can use.
Forget this.
What's wrong with that? Okay, forget about you know. A good painting doesn't have to identify it's a house or rock, or it could be anything. A good painting is a good balance of ink and the color and the abstract shapes. I don't see any problem with the abstract shape. So you can just redefine it, so to speak. You can make it into anything. Like you can use the ink to modify the color if you want to change the shape, or you can. I really don't see any problem. Can you point in?
Well, over here, what happened is, Henry, over here, I have little pink dots over here. Little pink because the splatter went all over. I didn't cover it.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
So can
you can paint the splatter all over the because they fly in the air. They fly in the air, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like the gun with the wind.
Okay. So I'll leave it.
It's
Thank
more
you.
poetic. Yeah, I wish I got that. You know. So if I just add some, it's good. Yeah. It's a poetic.
Anthony also raised his hand. Anthony, what's your question?
I need.
Thank you, Henry. A very interesting topic.
Thank you.
I in my kit I got a paper that has some lines on the paper. It's very soft paper, and there are some lines on the paper. I was wondering what that paper is used for.
It's like Wenzhou, I think, right? Or Koshi.
Okay, Anthony, the paper you got from the library, are you referring to the small size paper with asymmetric fiber looking lines?
Yes, there are lines.
Those are the mulberry paper.
Mulberry.
Oh, that's mulberry because it's not absorbed. It doesn't allow the ink to spread.
Today we are using the very, very white, very, very thin paper that is about 9.5 inches wide and 13 inches tall.
Okay, good.
That's
Thank you
the
very much.
most of that.
Yeah, you
That
can.
Alright.
You can
thinnest,
use the
whitest paper.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, I'm Sunny.
Okay.
Young lady.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Charlene has a question next.
I have a question. What do I do?
Raise your hand.
What do you
I
do?
have a question.
You are the artist.
How do I raise my hand to ask a question?
Who's
Okay,
it's Charlene. Charlene. Okay, Charlene. What's your question?
Charlene needs to unmute.
I just wanted to see if I have enough of the pink on there.
Yeah, it looks like you have something other than the color. You got too many ink there, but if you like, you can add some opaque into the just on top of the grays if you want to cover the grays.
Okay.
Yeah, it just look like a little too much grays. I did use a little, but basically they're very dry, and you can see if I add just along the shady part or the trunk part.
So what opaque color would I use?
You can use like what I did. I think last year I used white. You can use white to cover the blacks you don't like, and then you glaze it with a thin carmine wash.
Oh, okay.
If you
So white
if
and
you
then
decide to
glaze
use
with-
more white, yeah, you can, because that your painting looks like more like another painting I have from the master. Let me show you. So you can use a lot of white to modify that, to rescue it. Yeah. So let me.
Yeah, because I didn't use any white at all.
Okay, let me show you an example here with gouache. Okay, here you can see the master did this painting.
Oh, okay.
With a lot of white. Yeah, you can. This is a
very good.
You can see the white can cover the ink, right? You can put the white like a dark lighten this dark, but yeah, there's some ink behind, but not become just a pale gray because of the white pink.
How much of the white do you thin the white
you have to
down
decide.
a lot?
You can use the white directly and then glaze it. So it's really depends. You have to, if you want to cover the white to the black, you have to use more than 50%, I guess.
Okay.
Just like this. This is not an original shot. I think if you look at original, you should see the thickness of that, but we cannot really tell. It's a lot of white here, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like there's a mixture.
Yeah. Just get this feel of the light whitish pink.
Right. Okay. Looks good. I'll try it.
Yeah. Just different style you can explore. Okay. So.
Okay. That's my question.
Okay. Thank you.
Althea, do you have a question? Althea Wilshire. Did you have a question? You need to unmute yourself. Because I saw your microphone unmuted a few times before. I don't know whether you have issue raising hand or not. If you have a question, you could unmute yourself and ask. If not, I'm going to move on to another person. I guess Althea doesn't have a question. Okay, Nick is the person who has raised hand. I'm going to feature Nick.
Nick.
You need to unmute, Nick. Thank you.
Hello, can you see it?
Yeah, okay, I can see. Very
But
good.
the center more,
Yeah,
yes.
your tree is a little large, but it's okay. Just like the picture on my screen, you can do that. Just have more details, like a few more branches behind, maybe to make the new clothing, like here. You see this little 8 area in like two. So also some area, you can make some more crossing like this. You see,
老师那个树枝干太幼小了，很不会画。
Okay, you can. I will upload this picture to the folder later. You can reference this. This very much look like this picture. I mean, can you see my screen here?
Yes.
Yeah, just follow this masterpiece. To add a little more branches, you should be fine. Just a little more than 3. You can make some crossing in between the branches. Just more little details, because your tree is so big. You cannot just boost small painting into large. You have to add more details when you do a large tree. Yeah. Okay.
Colleen
Okay, thank you.
has a question.
I wanted to show mine.
Colleen Cox. Okay. Yours is a little bit too loose. You need to next time. I cannot really modify this one, but you should have a better plan before you compose the picture. I mean, for composition, basically, you don't have any problem with the techniques. Just the big picture is not right.
Okay.
It's just too loose. It's like they don't form the Z. They don't have any you see my picture on my table. I have a clear S shape, right? Yeah. That's something you can start with, and then you make it more sophisticated. But your stroke and the color are beautiful, by the way.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank
Just
you.
pay more attention on space arrangement.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone could review the YouTube video, rewind to see the certain areas where Henry talked about the imaginary Z letter composition, and practice that way for the people who come in late. Ramal raised hand again.
Yeah, if it's okay, I wanted to show Henry. And
Oh, your painting is very good. The white space could be a little less, but this could be a style. It's a little like the peach blossom. So the peach blossom has this kind of feel. It's good. Yeah, I like it.
Is it possible to add some color on the back side?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, you can do that. The reason to do that is to avoid covering the ink color in the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have questions? I do not see hand raised.
Yeah.
You could. Susan Heyman. Yes. Okay. Susan Heyman.
Susan. Okay. Susan Heyman. Okay. Yeah, I like the arch of the tree, but you want to make that arch a little bit not so split, maybe somehow, but it's okay to have that turn or that arch to look. It's a nice thinking. Just distinguish the two sides. Maybe one a little stronger on the left. Yeah. Okay, you got more, huh? Yeah, I like the first one. But the first one is better.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay,
you can
thank
leave
you.
it as is. Don't have to change anything. It's already a good picture. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Sharon, can you critique my piece?
I'm sorry. What is your name?
Sharon Ho.
Sharon.
Sorry, Sharon.
Yeah.
Can you raise your hand so I could see you? I'm sorry. We have many people.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You didn't see it?
I'm trying to find
Let
you.
me. I saw her.
Sure.
Yeah, you found it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You have a little bit different movement. So the tree is right in the middle. That's a problem. The root of the tree should be not in the center of the paper.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I fold the paper, so I remember not to touch that, not to paint on that line. So you make a cross of the paper. The cross is a taboo area. You don't want to touch it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just paint the tree on the left side of the left side of the paper. Yeah, not right in the middle. So like this one, I almost made a mistake, almost here. But yeah, I should be more aware of that. Even could be on
Okay.
this
Thank
side.
you. How about color? A little bit.
Anything else is fine. You know what? The composition is accounts 50% of a success or failure. So if your composition is not right, I cannot really help much. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Thank
the
you.
other part is good. You don't have any problem. Just because your big problem is in composition. That's why I point that out.
Okay.
Catherine's question. Do you have any question?
I just wanted to see what you thought.
I like the style of that tree with the vertical, and you have the crossing, the new or the number 8 crossing. It's good. The color could be pure, so you don't blend too much ink with. I don't know why it got a little muddy, but that's a little drawback, because you want to keep the freshness of the. Okay, it has a feeling of like a ancient time, like a vintage painting, but it's okay. If you title it like in a rain, it's with a diffused light, that could be as a feeling. So you can paint even more with that color, just to get that mood of a raining day, something shady. Yeah, it's good. I like that.
Althea Thompson, do you want to show something, or you only want to ask a question? Your screen, okay. You need to unmute, Althea. Althea, you need to unmute.
I do. Hello.
Hello.
Move the picture towards the center.
Colors weren't very good.
Okay.
Move the picture towards the center and back a little bit.
Yeah, I like the boldness of this color. It looks like a foliage, autumn foliage, though. But the composition is nice. Yeah. So you got that curve and a back. Yeah. So the left side is empty. You have to trim it off. When you do the composition, you need to consider the whole thing and don't be afraid to break the edges, the frame. Yeah. In this case, I just trim it off. You can. Yeah, I think you can just trim it off, the left side, about 2 inches. Yeah, to be fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, I have one. It's not good. This is Kathleen.
Kathleen.
Yes,
Kathleen. I need to find you. Did you raise your hand?
My raise hand.
Oh, we have Suzanne.
I need to find you.
Okay.
Is your camera on?
I will do Suzanne right now. Suzanne.
Yes, I can see her. She's doing something.
Okay, so Kathleen, can you wait a little bit?
I'll wait. I'll wait. No problem. Mine's not good, but I want him to see it.
Did I lose Suzanne? Okay.
Suzanne. Suzanne.
Yes.
Okay.
My question is about the pagoda. If do I just leave the spread of the ink?
Yeah, leave
or
it.
do I try to do something more to it?
No, that's fine. I think it just looked like a shadow or something. It doesn't bother me at all from distance view. It's a good. Yeah, I don't think any problem with the smear. You mean the underneath shade? It's like a cast shadow there. Oh, that no, not a problem. Not a problem at all. Yeah. This kind of painting is not about precision. It's about taste of ink and water. The special interest. We use the term taste. It's the interest of natural, just in between likeness and unlikeness. Yeah.
Okay.
So don't bother to have this kind of accident. As long as they look interesting, it's good. Yeah, it's a good painting. Good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Kathleen, I don't
Yes?
see your video. You need to turn on your video. Right now
I
you're a
do.
black screen. I found you, but you're a black screen. You need to turn on your video camera.
Yes, it's on because I can
We
see
cannot
that.
see you. You could raise your question so Henry can answer. Right now we cannot see anything from your screen, but you could raise your question.
I don't know why. Okay.
Yeah, it's a blank.
Let me see.
What is your question, Kathleen?
No, I wanted to see him. It's not
Okay,
the
so
best,
please
but I wanted him to
turn
see
on
it.
your video camera, and then I'll get back
Yes,
to you.
it says stop video. I say share contact participant more. I don't know.
You need to turn on the video, not the camera, not share anything. Just turn on the video. Do you have a camera on your computer?
Yes, I do have the camera. This is an iPad.
Okay.
This is an iPad.
Okay, you can test your video before you join, maybe, so you can see.
Because I show everybody. And
yeah,
this
we cannot
is me
see you,
here.
unfortunately.
This is me.
Sorry, I have to go to the next person. So
That's
this
not
gentleman,
fair.
Daniel.
This is the composition, and then I did this. Oops, I don't know if I. Yeah, that I just did next.
Okay. Yeah. Your right hand is look like a different painting. It could be a flower.
Yeah.
Flower and birds painting kind of style. So
Yeah.
this is the landscape is what we try to do. So the proportion has to be right for landscape. So your left hand is good. You can add a little more branches behind the trees behind these two. That would be more overlapping with this, just more layers. This
Okay.
so far is so good. Yeah, just try to complete it. It's like now it's under 50% finished.
Yeah.
If you reach 50%, it should be much better. Yeah.
Yeah, waiting for it to dry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good to wait. Yeah. So next is Katie. Katie, are you ready?
Kathleen, you are now visible in the video.
Yes, this is it there. It's not the best, but I wanted him to see it.
Oh, okay. Very good attempt. Yeah, I like the willow branches. We do have this kind of willow cherry blossom. That's what you're trying to do, right? Very nice. You just complete a little bit on the your right side.
Pink.
Yeah, just more branches, more flowers, more
flowers.
Yeah, more
Okay.
hanging branches. Have fuller shape. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Okay.
Good job.
There is a question from Rosemary.
Rosemary. Okay, Rosemary, what's your question?
No, I just wanted to show my my work.
Okay.
Your critique. I had trouble with the blossoms, and I think I used the wrong paper.
Oh, you can add more layers. Yeah, you got a good foundation, good composition. Just you can splatter or dot more pink, and you can modify the branches if you think you need with a opaque pink, even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Angela has a question. Angela, your camera is not on. Do you want to only ask the question? Okay.
Well, I actually would like to show mine because I find mine to be a little, I think my branches are a little problematic. They're a little soft. I was wondering if there are any suggestions as to how to sort of make them a little...
I think if you cut off the bottom right there, maybe you need to cut out the boat as well. So because the root is too much, too heavy.
It was an attempt for rocks and roots. Oh well.
Yeah, I think you can cut that off. Just make it into a square painting. Cut out the boat. You have if you do that, you have as well.
Any suggestion as to have sort of softer, more? I see how your branches.
Drier brush, more control. Have a you keep the composition in mind. Don't just add trees or rocks. they are just element of composition. They are lines, shapes, instead of trees and rocks, or things. Yeah, think in design first, not identify, anything. Because if you work on rocks and trees, you don't really see the picture.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Joanne Basanti. Next.
Okay, that's very nice color, beautiful. I give you an A. I like the splatter.
You're kidding. I didn't like them. I thought they were too big and blotchy.
No. It's abstract expressionism. Jackson Pollock. That's the one. That's the way to go.
All right.
He learned from us from Oriental art, right? But he goes abstract expressionism. We are abstract realism. Got it?
All right. Thank you.
You're Jackson Pollock. I give you A. Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, Stephanie, what's your question? You need to unmute.
我其实要李老师，因为我不懂得怎样画那个 splotchy。
你说
So at that time I didn't know how to do it, but now
you mean like
I,
a splatter, splotch?
Yeah, I just use a brush.
Oh, your brush. You can dot it. Yeah, no, you don't have to splash if you feel like painting. I think that the main thing is the tree has to have the power of the tree. It's like growing. If you painted the tree like with the gesture of growing power, with that kind of bone, in Chinese we call it the bone stroke. Yeah, practice some calligraphy will help. Just have it more calligraphic, not miao to trace anything. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I just learned it.
Yeah, I think the upper half is good. Maybe you just cut the lower half, because that tree, when you have a big stroke like that, it has to be a master. You have to be a really calligrapher to do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 3 o'clock. In fact, 2 minutes past 3. Henry, what is the...
Yeah, I can end anytime if no questions. I mean, we won't have no time to answer all questions, so we have to cut right now, I think.
Okay. So thank you, everybody. You are welcome to raise your question by email ahead of the class. Review all these videos, look at the handouts, do your practice outside, and share your questions, share your handiwork, beautiful work online. And I also put in an event, which is an author talk and book discussion featuring 3 female writers who wrote fiction based on historical facts. Some of them wrote stories based on their own experience. And this is an event for 5 o'clock in New York time, March 25th. I put the link in the chat. Welcome to register and participate and meet 3 authors who have wrote significant stories. One is about her experience in the South when the black and white schools were going through the integration back in 1960. And the other one talk about effects of the Holocaust on people, survivors who moved to New York 40 years ago. The other one talk about the effect of Napoleon's army in Italy, who basically open up the ghetto gate for Jewish people who used to live in ghettos. And interesting story back then in Europe, in Italy. So these are interesting stories if you are interested in coming to listen, even if you don't have a chance of borrowing the books. Thank you very much. And we will have to cut the meeting short today. And sorry that we cannot get to everybody, but please view the video on YouTube afterwards and look at my emails for many detailed instructions. And I'm actually looking for one person who told me that her mother turned 104 recently. I want to get in touch with her. I forgot who that person is. I am very